Hello, Wizards, Warlocks, and Warriors. Welcome to Multiverse. So, we got a new Dragon Age trailer a couple of days ago. They did change the name of Dragon Age 4 to Dragon Age the Veilguard. I'm not going to say what the previous name was because it might be considered a bit of a spoiler. And also, if you did not play a Dragon Age Inquisition just yet for whatever reasons, it is a bit of a spoiler for that too. Sadly, if you've searched for Dragon Age the Veilguard on the internets in the past few days, sadly you may have seen that a lot of people did not like the new trailer. One of the things people didn't like was is the look of the game. Basically, they thought the game looked a bit too cartoony. Basically, they did not go realistic with the style. They did not really go cartoon either, but it is a weird mix in between the two. So it might in part create that uncanny valley that sometimes makes 3D animation not very nice to watch. But also what people didn't like is the tone. Again, basically there's a bit of a cartoony feel to the trailer. There's also some jokey jokes. Some people compared it to a Marvel trailer, something almost made by James Gunn, which is I guess a fair comparison. Now, Dragon Age is supposed to be a dark fantasy setting, so the cartoony feel and the banter, the jokey jokes, I guess did not really fit with the atmosphere that people had in mind for a Dragon Age game. Personally, I could not help but think that the trailer was too dark, not in terms of tone, but in terms of lighting. Like sometimes we can barely see what is actually going on, as if someone did a poor job adjusting the brightness and the contrast. Although that might just be it. Maybe for the presentation, someone didn't do a good job adjusting all the settings. Hopefully, when we do get the game, we will be able to adjust it so that it's a little bit brighter because sometimes we can barely see what's on the screen. I find it pretty much as bad as the Game of Thrones episode, Battle of Winterfell, where the picture quality was so dark that we couldn't really tell what was going on. So far, people have been pretty tough on Dragon Age the Veilguard because of the trailer. A lot of people were saying that hopefully the gameplay will look much better. To me, the gameplay pretty much looks like what we saw in the trailer. I saw some people who said that the gameplay looks much better than the trailer. I guess they're seeing something that I'm not seeing because I'm not seeing it. To me, it looks pretty much the same. The trailer did a good job showing us what the game would look like. And here, now that we can actually see the gameplay, yeah, the trailer was a fair representation of the game. The game does not show us the character creation process. We jump straight into the game. But already we do have some information about the character creation process. So basically we are going to be able to create our character. We are going to be able to choose the race between elf, human, Kunari, and the dwarf. You will be able to choose your class, a fighter, mage, or warrior. And you will be able to choose a faction, Shadow Dragons, the Grey Wardens, and I forget what the third one was. So this is how you will be able to customize your character, and supposedly it's not unlike Origin, whereas depending on the choices you make at character creation, you may have a slightly different beginning. So here obviously we saw the game starts if you play a rogue that is also a Shadow Dragon. I'm not sure if it's only the faction that will influence how the game starts, or if your race or class will have a role to play into that. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see for that. There are supposed to be various events during the week talking about Dragon Age the Veilguard, so hopefully one of those sneak peek will show us the character creation. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see for that. From what I understand, you will be able to have only 2 companions with your character. And there seems to be only like 7 companions total. Although way back when, they would add new companions as DLCs. I seem to recall way back when with Dragon Age Origins, we had the Shale that was included in pretty much the first DLC for the game. So maybe there will be some extra companions added in future DLCs or maybe a future expansion. We're gonna have to wait and see for that. I know that at some point they were planning to have microtransactions in the game. Then at some point they scrapped all their plans and they rebuilt the game from scratch. But we still don't know, is there going to be microtransactions in the game or not? I did not see any of the devs talk about that so far. Again, there are going to be various events during the week. Maybe one of them will mention that. You may have noticed in the gameplay so far, the gameplay seems to be pretty linear. There doesn't seem to be much exploration involved. You pretty much go into a straight corridor. So sadly, that seems to be how the Veilguard will play. Um, I guess there will be some exploration within those restraints. Like I've seen games like I've played games like Icewind Dale, where it was a pretty linear game, but there was a lot of dungeon crawl, and you could explore a whole bunch of dungeons and stuff like that. But it wasn't the same as having an open world. Personally, I kind of like to explore, so I'm a bit sad that there's not going to be an open world. Although even in a linear game, there is room sometimes for some exploration. So we are still going to be sort of exploring the world, but in a more linear fashion. Also, you have to wonder how big the world will be, but we don't really know at this point. The combat seems to be fast paced, although I hesitate a bit about saying that, because way back when we got Dragon Age 2, the first playthrough I did with Dragon Age 2 was as a rogue, and holy crap, as a rogue, you were lightning fast. The combat was not just fast, it was uber fast. And sadly, then later on, when I tried to play Dragon Age 2 with a fighter, holy crap, was combat slow, slow, and slow. It was like fighting in molasses or something. So yes, combat appears to be fast, but again, it may be fast because we are seeing combat from the point of view of a rogue. It could be that with a fighter, the combat is not so fast. Again, until we actually see some gameplay with the fighter, we can't really know for sure. When we saw the previous trailer, in the trailer they do show us who we can take in our party, and sadly Varric is not one of them. I thought he would be because he does play a prominent role in the trailer, or even in this demo. We do see Varric quite a bit in this demo. Sadly, it doesn't seem that he will be one of the party members that you can bring with you. Sadly, Varric, Isabella, Morgan, these were pretty much my favorite party members, and it would seem that none of them will be party members in this game. Although, who knows, maybe we could get at some point some sort of DLC. Like I seem to recall at some point we got Morgan that was added in a DLC. Or even in Dragon Age Inquisition for that matter. There was a part of the game where we actually do meet Morgan. So when it comes to the party, I assume we will have all our companions in some sort of base camp or something like that. But we will only have two companions with us while playing the game. From what I understand, they seem to be doing what they did with Mass Effects. Full disclosure, I did not play Mass Effects myself, but already when we got the Dragon Age 2, they had simplified a whole bunch of stuff. And at the time already, people were saying that they were trying to make the game more like Mass Effects. With Dragon Age Inquisition, they did go back a bit and gave us more options or more control. But now it seems that they went one more step towards Mass Effects, and we only have two companions, and we cannot really control our companions. There are some abilities, from what I understand, that we will be able to use, but it would seem that we will have no real control over our companions. Again, I did not play Mass Effects, and this is pretty much second-hand information, so hopefully we will get some sort of confirmation from the devs this week. We'll have to wait and see for that. So it would seem that this new game, like all the other Dragon Age games, will be completely different than the previous Dragon Age games. I'm not sure why they don't go back to simply Dragon Age Origins. That is the game that made a lot of us fans of Dragon Age. Basically, I became a fan of Dragon Age with Dragon Age Origins, obviously. So you have to wonder, why not just go back to giving us a similar game, simply with better graphics? But it would seem that they are determined to reinvent the wheel whenever they give us a new Dragon Age game. Now, I heard a lot of rumors about that. Basically, it's because every game had a new game director, and each game director wanted to put his own stamp on the Dragon Age franchise. I've seen other people who blame the evil EA for some reason. But whatever the real reason is, sadly, whenever we get a Dragon Age game, we get a completely different new game. So it's kind of hard to know ahead of time. Is it going to be a good game? Is it going to be a bad game? I guess we will need to try it out to find out, or maybe from the early reviews. Sadly, sometimes early reviews are a bit iffy. So odds are we will have to try the game and find out for ourselves. Holy crap, what does she have on her head? That makes no sense to me. Also, one more thing that should be mentioned is the dialogue wheel. It is something that came up again quite some time ago, and from what I understand, that is something that came from Mass Effects at the time. It is to kind of simplify things, but again, they may have simplified things a little bit too much. And one thing that is annoying with the dialogue wheel is that sometimes you'll select the dialogue option, and then when you hear the character talk, when you see the result of selecting that option, it has nothing to do with what you selected. So sometimes you would select an option like hello, and then you would have your character go, I'm going to kill your face! And then, of course, you end up in combat, and that's not at all what you intended by just selecting hello. You thought you were just greeting the guy. Turns out that it was a greeting with a lot of insults included. There is some symbols that's supposed to show you if it's a neutral reaction, or a bad reaction, or a good reaction. But again, even then, sometimes, even with the symbol, even with the line, the result is nothing like what you expected. I miss the days when they will give you all the dialogue options, and you select the dialogue option you want, and that would be the dialogue your character would say. But they went with the dialogue wheel, I guess to try to simplify the process. Oh well. Now, full disclosure, I've been a BioWare fan for a long time, basically all the way back to Baldur's Gate. I played Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate 2, Icewind Dale, Icewind Dale 2, Planescape Torment. I played all the Infinity Engines game. I played Neverwinter Nights, Neverwinter Nights 2, and probably other games I forget. The one game I didn't play from BioWare that I can think of is the Old Republic. I tried the Old Republic briefly, didn't really like it, and I stopped playing it. I did not play Mass Effects either, but when we got Dragon Age Origins, I was back playing BioWare games, and basically I played Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, and Dragon Age Inquisitions. And full disclosure, I will play Dragon Age the Veilguard. We have been waiting and waiting for a new Dragon Age game for 8 years now. So obviously, I will buy the game and I will play the game. So if somehow you're still on the fence, whether you want to try out the game or not, once I do get the game, I will make videos about it. Now supposedly the game is pretty much finished as I'm recording this. Now you have to wonder, if the game is finished, why not just release it? They might be waiting to release it for next fall, next November, so that they can benefit from the Christmas holidays. And that's the one reason I would see for them to delay the release of the game until the fall. But we should get more information about the game this week. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to make videos about everything that's going to be mentioned this week, but if there is something worth mentioning, I'll try to make a video about it. But basically, so far, we got to look at the graphics, we got to look at the combat, at least combat from the point of view of the rogue. It would be nice to get a good look at the character creation. Hopefully, we'll get that later this week. So, if we do get more information, I'll probably make a video about it. If not, once the game does go live, I will play the game and I will make videos about it.